Hello everyone, my name is Sanjivani Puyar. My topic name is technical topics. My subject name is body cavities. Human body cavities contain the brain. You probable recognition the colorful object in the photos and human brain. The brain is arguably the most important organ in the human body. Fortunately for you, the brain has its own special containers called the cranial cavity. The cranial cavity enclosing the brain is just one of several cavities in the human body that form containers for vital organ. The human body, like that of many other multicellular organisms, is divided into a number of body cavities. A body cavity is a fluid-filled spaces inside the body that holds and protects internal organs. Human body cavities are separated by membranes and other structures. The two largest human body cavities are the ventral cavity and dorsal cavity. These two bodies cavities are subdivided into smaller body cavities. Both the dorsal and ventral cavities and their subdivision are shown in the ventral. First about the ventral cavity. The ventral cavity is at the anterior or front of the trunk. Organs contained within these body cavities include the lungs, heart, stomach, intestines, and reproductive organs. The ventral cavity allows for considerable changes in the size and shape of the organs inside as they perform their function. Organs such as the lungs, stomach, or uterus, for example, can expand or contract without distorting other tissues or disturbing the activities of nearby organs. The ventral cavity is subdivided into the thoracic and abdominopelvic cavities. The thoracic cavity fills the chest and is subdivided into two pleural cavities. The pericardial cavity, the pleural cavity holds the lungs and the pericardial cavity holds the heart. The abdominopelvic cavity fills the lower half of the trunk and is subdivided into the abdominal cavity. At the pelvic cavity, the abdominal cavity holds digestive organs and the kidneys, and the pelvic cavity holds reproductive organs and organs of excretion. Dorsal cavity. The dorsal cavity is at the posterior for back of the body, including both the head and the back of the trunk. The dorsal cavity is subdivided into the cranial and spinal cavities. The cranial cavity fills most of the upper part of the skull and contains the brain. The spinal cavity is a very long, narrow cavity inside the vertebral column. It runs the length of the trunk and contains the spinal cord. The brain and spinal cord are protected by the bones of the skull and the vertebrae of the spine. They are further protected by the meninges, a three-layer membrane that encloses the brain and the spinal cord. A thin layer of cerebrospinal fluid is maintained between two of the meningeal layers. This clear fluid is produced by the brain and it provides extra protection and the crushing for the brain and spinal cord future of my human body. The meningeus membranes that protects the brain and spinal cord inside their cavities may become inflamed, generally due to a bacterial or viral infection. This condition is called as the meningitis, and it can lead to the serious long-term consequences such as deafness, epilepsy, or conjunctive defects, especially if not treated quickly. Meningitis can also rapidly become life-threatening, so it is classified as medical emergency. Learning the symptoms of meningitis may help you or allowed on a God promote medical attention. If you ever develop the disease, common symptoms including fever, headache, and neck stipends. Other symptoms including confusion or altered consequences, omitting, and the inability to tolerate light or loud noises. Young children often exhibit less specific symptoms such as irritability, drowsiness, or poor feeling. When jaundice is diagnosed with the lumbar Fincher, commonly known as the spinal tap, which is needle is inserted into the spinal canal to collect the sample of cerebrospinal fluid. The fluid is analyzed in a medical lab for the presence of pathogen. In if meningitis is diagnosed, treatment connects of antibiotics, the sometimes antiviral drugs. Corticosteroids may also be administered to the reduce inflammation and the risk of complications such as the brain damage. Supportive measures such as IV fluids may also be provided. Some types of meningitis can be prevented. Vaccine, ask your healthcare professional whether they have vaccine should get it. Given antibiotics, people who had significant exposure certain types meningitis reduce the risk of developing the disease. Some the diagnosis meningitis and you are considered about contracting disease yourself. See your doctor or advice. The human body is divided into number of body cavities, fluid-filled spaces in the body that hold or protect internal organs. Two largest human body cavities: ventral cavity, dorsal cavity. Ventral cavity is the anterior front and is subdivided into the thoracic and abdominopelvic cavity. Dorsal cavity, posterior of the back in body, and includes the head in the back of the turn, subdivided into the cranial cavity and spinal cord. Thank you.